What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here, and welcome back to the 20th round of Season 2 today, here for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and off the back of a couple of good results now in the recent races with a second place in USA. We come here on good form since we started at Red Bull. Now we're looking pretty sharp towards the end of the season, and now heading into Brazil, we're going to have to do some engine penalties. With basically, we're going to just set us back, and we're not going to be able to qualify today. We're going to be starting from the back of the grid. We've already got a new gearbox which is free of charge, which is not going to give us any penalties, but we decide to replace every component anyway. We've got a worn engine, so we decide, you know what, might as well start from the back of the grid and see where we can go in the race. This time last season we finished 6th at the Brazilian Grand Prix for Alfa Romeo, so we should be quite decent in terms of getting through the pack. I don't know whether we'll be able to get towards the podium, but we should have decent pace around this track actually. But hopefully we can do well from last anyway. We haven't really got too much to play for in terms of fighting for a championship, but we could potentially take hold of P3 in the driver's standings, getting ahead of Valtteri Bottas. But whether that's going to be possible remains to be seen, because Bottas is in the dominant Mercedes as it has been this season. He has had a bit of bad luck though, which is why he's third in the first place. Lucas Weber ahead of him, who's had a hell of a season, to be honest. He pretty much destroyed me when I was at Alfa Romeo for the first half of the season. But yeah, we've done quite well in recent races for Red Bull. Definitely a good move that we've made. We struggled at Alfa Romeo for whatever reason, done well at Toro Rosso, but now we're starting to kick on at Red Bull, where we managed to score a second at a bogey track. So yeah, there's plenty more we can do here in Brazil and Abu Dhabi, hopefully, which is also a bit of a bogey track, to be honest. But here's the starting grid nonetheless, and both the Mercedes on the front row. Another front row lockout this season from the Mercedes. Hopefully we'll see less of that in Season 3, but Weber ahead of Verstappen, so our teammates done well there. But both the McLarens there in row 3 ahead of both Ferraris. Ricciardo ahead of Stroll, had another difficult day for him, and then Gasly, Albon behind Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Sainz, Kvyat, Giovinazzi and Russell and myself. So the Williams now struggling a little bit as well again. They're heading towards the back end of the grid here in Brazil. So we head on to those 5 red lights. We've also got that constructors battle with McLaren. Whether we can take hold of P4 in the constructors, we'll find out whether we can get any closer to them today, as we're away in Brazil, as we head towards turn 1, diving down the inside of Giovinazzi and getting past him into P19 almost immediately. He's on the outside though, so he's trying to fight back, but we have P19 ahead of Giovinazzi at the start then, so we've gained 1 place. And now looking towards turn 3, we now get on the second DRS straight. We're looking to make a move on Russell here, and diving down the inside of Russell and Kvyat, both the Williams then, as we get into P17. So we've gained 3 places so far off the start, and now chasing towards Kevin Magnussen and the rest of the pack. So doing everything we can on lap 1 then, and trying to gain as many places as possible. And now we look to gain another one on Magnussen, but we're thinking a lot more than that, and just gaining one on Carlos Sainz as we move up into P15, as Sainz tries to fight back, but we're not having any of it. And now our next target is Nico Hulkenberg, diving down the inside of Hulkenberg, again getting pinched on the inside there a little bit, as we try to pinch him again on the exit. Hulkenberg manages to get a better exit than us, but we get more momentum on the outside. We take hold of P14 and squeeze him on the inside a little bit there as well, putting him on the back foot as we get onto the back straight, onto the main straight now. And now heading towards the start-finish straight to start lap 2. We've gained 6 places off the start, so we've got ahead of 2 Haas's, 2 Renaults and 2 Williams. So the 3 back marker teams really, at the moment it seems, in this race at least, with the upgrades that people have done recently, seeing those guys towards the back, although Williams have been good in recent races, to be fair. But now here's the replay then of the start. We dive down the inside of Giovinazzi there. He tried to fight back on the outside of the center S's, but we weren't really having too much of it. But yeah, we got a better exit out of the center S's, and then towards the back straight there, we can see the 2 Williams fighting towards the inside. You can see the Haas as well defending on the inside, but we dive down the inside of the Williamses and take hold of P17 there, and then towards, you can see Giovinazzi getting forced off the track there as well by, I think, Danny Kvyat, so he won't be too happy about that one. And now heading towards the infield part of this track, we dive down the inside of Kevin Magnussen and just about make it down the inside of Sainz as well, but he turns in on us, as the 2019 AI do on you here. In every single track they all turn in on you, but again we do the same to Hulkenberg. He turns in on us too, gets a little bit of better exit, but we managed to carry the momentum on the outside and get a better line. We forced him to the inside, and he has to take a weaker line into that corner, puts him on the back foot, having to defend from Carlos Sainz in the Renault. But that's pretty much the highlights of lap 1 then. We head on to lap 2, chasing both the Toro Rossos, our former team then. So our former teammate and the guy that replaced us at Toro Rosso, and Pierre Gasly, the man we've replaced at Red Bull. We're now chasing these guys, so hopefully we can get past these guys very quickly, and hopefully they won't defend too much, considering they're our sister team. So we should be able to get past them immediately, but hopefully we can do that, because yeah, we don't want to be stuck behind these guys for too long. We want to be able to fight for a good result here. We don't know what the McLarens are doing as well further up the order in this battle for 4th in the Constructors. We can get past Pierre Gasly if we're lucky here, and we're getting closer to Pierre Gasly. Are we going to do the same sort of move we did on Hulkenberg last lap? And yes, we do. We do get past Pierre Gasly, and now we're looking to get past Alexander Albon, and almost immediately too. We get a good run out here, and we're going to dive down the inside of Alexander Albon and take out a P12. So a good move on the Toro Rossos. They've got past them very quickly, and now chasing towards the Racing Point, and the Alfa Romeo looking towards taking the points as well. So we're almost in the points then. Just 2 places left to go. So Stroll, for whatever reason, he's a long way off his teammate. We were a little bit behind Weber as well in terms of pace, but not as badly as Stroll, who's just really struggling to get any points so far for Alfa Romeo. Really been a poor replacement to us, to be honest. So whether he's at Alfa Romeo next season, I would be surprised, because I'm sure they could replace him with someone that's probably going to get them more points. Although Ricciardo seems to have struggled as well for Racing Point, particularly this season. He seems to be dominated by Sergio Perez for some whatever reason. Ricciardo's actually running ahead of Perez at the moment, but Stroll is fighting with Ricciardo for P9. So we've now joined this battle, really close to Sergio Perez, and potentially make another move that we made on the last couple of laps on both Hulkenberg and Gasly, and we do the same thing on Perez that time and take hold of P11. So that seems to be one of our favourite overtaking spots at the moment. But now almost thinking about doing the same move we did on Albon, but getting a little bit of a wheel on the grass there, which has not helped us too much. We've got a bit of a poor exit, but we will have DRS assistance though, but so will Stroll on Ricciardo. So Stroll should be trying to take P9 here from Ricciardo. Looks to the inside, but there was no room there. That sort of hindered him a bit. He goes to the outside now, we go to the inside on both of these guys, braking very late, locking up into turn 1. We got past both of them. Ricciardo fights back on the outside, but can't get around us, and we take hold of P9 there. A nice double overtake on both Ricciardo and Stroll. So up into P9 we go, and you can see Stroll now looking to probably get past Daniel Ricciardo. So Daniel Ricciardo losing 2 places within a couple of corners there. That's going to be leaving him very wound up indeed. So disappointment there for Ricciardo, but Racing Point perhaps just not being quick enough for the points in this race. I think we've actually got 5 teams in the points now. So we've got both the Alphas, both the Red Bulls, both the Ferraris, both the McLarens, and both the Mercedes. So it's pretty much a tale of the top half versus the bottom half at the moment, in this race at least. In terms of pace, Racing Point have sort of been 6th best all season really, just hanging around the points sort of. But if they can get some points, of course we had the spell with Toro Rosso where we did drag our Toro Rosso towards the points, and of course getting that win, which actually helped fire us from up the order from bottom to 6th in the end. But I think Toro Rosso now sort of gone a bit backwards. Racing Point sort of put them back down to 7th, and we ourselves are trying to get ahead of McLaren by the end of the season. We've had a couple of good results recently at 1-2 in USA, definitely helped out a lot. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for the fight for 4th. We can definitely do it in these last couple of races, providing that we both have good results. Although Verstappen at the moment is fighting with these 2 Ferraris, which would indicate one of the McLarens is a little bit further down the road. So yeah, it looks like Lando Norris is having a good race. Lando Norris has sort of been the weak link of McLarens this season. Been very poor in qualifying, but today he's ahead of both the Ferraris, both Butler and Verstappen as well. So you can see just down the road he's ahead of this little queue of cars, which Verstappen leads as well. So maybe it's the Ferraris that are holding people up. We had a good battle with the Ferraris last season. We're thinking about making a move on Devon Butler though here, but think a little bit better of it. We come onto the main straight now where we will hope to make the move. But yeah, an awesome battle with the Ferraris this time last season in Brazil, and it could be another battle with them again. They're both running quite close to each other, but now trying to get close to the Ferraris. We're going to make the move down past the inside on Devon Butler up into P8. we go. A little bit of contact with Devon Butler as we get past him on the inside, late braking, and Verstappen's just lost 2 places there because Verstappen was actually ahead of the 2 Ferraris before we made the move on Butler. Now he's behind them both, so for some reason it's going badly wrong for Verstappen today. So we need to pick up the pieces almost in this race. He started P4 ahead of both the McLarens, and now he's had a poor start. Obviously, he's ended up losing places to the Ferraris and the McLaren of Norris as well. So he probably could be doing a lot better in that Red Bull. So we've got to try and get past him as quickly as possible because we're currently the quickest of the 2 Red Bulls in this race. So if we can get past Verstappen very quickly, we can now look forward to the Ferraris and maybe the McLaren and the Alfa are ahead as well. But the 2 Mercedes, perhaps that's wishful thinking if we want to catch up to those guys. But we should have DRS here, and we should be able to make the move on Max Verstappen if we're lucky, although he will have DRS too. But Valtteri Bottas setting the fastest lap of the race there, so Bottas has got the best pace at the moment, but we don't seem to have the best pace. We're setting 1:11s, he's setting 1:10s, so the Mercedes is actually a lot quicker, but we are in a bit of traffic here with the 2 Ferraris who have lost a lot of pace this season since the start. And now we got DRS looking to close in on the Red Bull teammate, and then he's looking to close in on both the Ferraris, but we just can't get close enough. We're having to save a little bit of ERS and looking to close in now again, but looking for that right moment. We want to get past these guys as quickly as possible if we want to get on that podium, and of course we want to beat the McLarens as well, but it's just going to be a difficult one because they're going to get further and further away as well as we speak, so it's going to be very difficult in this race if we want to get on that podium. So we need to make these overtakes very quickly, but yeah, we managed to get a lot of progress in the opening laps, but at the moment we're stuck behind Verstappen, but we're getting closer and closer. Looking to the outside, he's having to defend on the inside. That's going to put him on the back foot going onto the main straight, but look how close we get to him there. He's now looking to get further away. It's more momentum, but now with a little bit of slipstream and a little bit of DRS, surely this should be a done deal, and we should be able to get past Max Verstappen now as we look towards turn 1. But no, he's still quite a bit ahead of us. But no, we dive down the inside again, the last of the late breakers, as we do get past Max Verstappen, and up into P7 we go. So moving on then towards the end of lap 8, towards the start of lap 9, we're looking now to make the inside move on the inside of Leclerc as we get past him and up into P6 now. So we made another overtake there, got past Verstappen, and now we got past Leclerc, and now looking to get past Vettel as well. So making a lot of progress now as we skip towards lap 9, just a lap of chasing the Ferraris, and then now a lap of overtaking Leclerc, and now we're looking to catch up to Vettel as well. So yeah, it looks like Vettel a little bit more pace than Leclerc at the moment in this race, and a little bit more pace than Verstappen as well, who's going backwards for whatever reason. I'd have thought that the Verstappen was going to be quick in this race. In the Red Bull, that's been improving a lot recently. So yeah, it's a bit of an odd one that he dominated USA pretty much, and coming into this race, he's having a difficult one down in P8 or so at the moment. So now chasing Sebastian Vettel, we're looking to get close to him. He's not going to have any DRS assistance as well, so he should be a sitting duck here as we head onto the straight now, and getting DRS open in just a moment's time. We should really be easy prey to get past Sebastian Vettel here, and indeed now getting very close onto the outside, though we make the move on the outside this time into turn 1. Yeah, just thinking the other way and not making a move on the inside, but we do get past on the outside, and we're up into P5, so this is looking good for us at the moment. And now we can chase towards Hamilton, who's up in P4, but unless Vettel can get back past us on the outside, Vettel does get past us on the outside, but we outbrake him and keep hold of P5, so we're not going to lose that position at all. And now Vettel's still chasing us. We've had to turn the ERS down a lot there, and now unfortunately Vettel's still on our back, so having to turn it down. We have to manage the ERS. We move on to lap 10. We're going to be pitting very soon though, so this we'd imagine we'd be pitting at the end of this lap. So Hamilton in P4, we see the actual P1 is actually not too far ahead, so the win is perhaps possible in this race. And well, who would have thought that we'd be able to win from last on the grid, that now being able to be in contention for the win. It's definitely a good race then so far, and would never have thought it from starting at the back, but for whatever reason no one's been able to build a gap up front, and they've all been squabbling over each other, I think. But we pit now, and Hamilton as well pitting ahead of us, so we'll see how close we can end up behind Hamilton coming out of the pits then. who's had a bit of a disappointing race. I'd imagine. He started on pole, and he's going a little bit backwards. He was currently P4, but actually getting ahead of Hamilton. Well, ahead of Hamilton, sort of inside Hamilton there. Unsafe relief, you would call that. But ahead of Hamilton we go, and up into P10, then down into P10. Hamilton in P11, who's had a poor pit stop there. So unfortunately for him, he's lost position to us through no fault of his own. I think he must have just had a few cars coming into the pits then, and of course, being the first car in the pit lane, he's going to have, there was a massive load of cars coming in, so the team couldn't release him, but for some reason they could release me into the path of him. But now, coming on to the end of that lap, the start of the next lap, we've got some more cars coming out of the pits, then our teammates coming out of the pits, Vettel's coming out of the pits, so we haven't had the best outlap really, but yeah, you can see we actually ended up behind Vettel, still ahead of Verstappen, but now looking to the inside of Vettel to just try and retake that position, not having him gain that position on us. So we didn't want to lose that position. Back into P5 then we go. So there should be someone else left yet to stop, as Norris and Weber and Bottas are still ahead of us. So we're looking to catch up towards those guys now. But yeah, unless we can end up losing these positions, because this has been the only time we've had no cars ahead of us in an entire race. So maybe we're going to be a sitting duck here on the main straight, because Vettel and Hamilton, and I think Verstappen as well, all behind us, all going to be looking to get past us on this main straight as we again lock up as well. So that's not going to do us too good at all. And there's going to be someone pitting as well soon. So this could put us into P4, and maybe P4 might be the best we can hope for in this race, because it's Gasly that's pitting. So P4, but Vettel not actually getting close enough to us for some reason, and we're able to keep hold of P4 for the time being. So this is looking okay at the moment. So now Weber's on hard tyres. Norris is fighting with Weber then for P2 ahead of us. So you just saw them switch positions, and there you can see. Hopefully we can catch up to those guys. Looks like Bottas is then actually now managed to pull away a little bit. So Bottas, the guy that we could be fighting for P3 in the driver standings, looks like he's doing everything he can to stay in P3, and at the moment Bottas will secure P3 definitely in the driver standings. So at the moment our main target now is probably to try and catch up to Norris and get on the podium, because Red Bull, we can finish 4th ahead of McLaren, which is the best we can do for this season. And looking forward to next season, we can definitely fight with the Mercedes, I think, with how well we've been doing towards the end of this season with the upgrades that we've had. And you can see we set a purple sector 2. Vettel still keeping us a little bit of company, but we're still chasing towards Lando Norris and Lucas Weber now for P2 or P3 in this race, as they're currently fighting over P2. So if we can get a good pace in this race, we can close in. And indeed, moving on to the end of lap 16 and towards the start of lap 17, we've closed in a lot on them in the last couple of laps. So these two have been squabbling over P2 for the last couple of laps of this race, and you can see again Norris diving down the inside of Lucas Weber as we head towards the inside there. Norris couldn't make it past on Weber, but now we got DRS, he's got DRS too. What can we do here with just 2 laps remaining in this race? Can we get P2 or P3 in this race? It's a good chance for a podium. We dive down the inside of Norris, a really late move and an unexpected move as well. A little bit of contact as he turns in on us there, and now chasing towards Lucas Weber as Sergio Perez retires from the race then. So a disappointment for the Racing Point. But yeah, up into P3 we go then, up on the podium with just 1 lap left to go. We could get P2 here. If only Valtteri Bottas would have a problem too and retire from this race. This would be an awesome battle for the lead if we managed to get from P20 to P1. But there's a good chance from P20 to get to P2. So we'd have gained 19 positions then, 18 positions rather, which would be a fantastic result. But yeah, definitely if we can get past Lucas Weber with just 1 lap to go then, as we come onto the main straight to start the last lap then, we've got DRS, and surely this is going to be an easy overtake. We're almost alongside him already. He almost looks to close the door, but we go on the inside, make the move, and we're ahead of Lucas Weber as we head onto the last lap of this race, and just about making that move before we get into the yellow flag section as well, which was exactly what we needed to do. And definitely a good result then so far as we get from P20 to P2, and a good move. But Lucas Weber fighting back on the outside there, definitely not what we wanted. So we outbrake him again and force him out wide. We're not losing that position like that, definitely not. And Lucas Weber down to P3, and we're into P2 then, and this is where we're going to end this race surely, unless Lucas Weber can fight back on the last lap of this race. But we took everything out of these tyres, getting from P20 to P2, A fantastic race, and another race where we're going to be on the podium. So we had the win in Mexico and almost losing the rear end completely there. Weber diving down the inside, but completely losing that and almost throwing away what would have been an awesome result just a couple of seconds there, just by dipping the wheel on the grass. And now coming towards the end of this race, around the final corner, can we keep hold of this position? We've got the hot lap mode, we've got the rich fuel mix. We're going to go towards the line now. Valtteri Bottas is going to win this race, but can we keep it on P2? Lucas Weber is going to be closing in on us as we come towards the line. Are we going to be able to keep hold of P2? Yes, we are, just about. And Lucas Weber in P3, but P2 from P20. What a result that is. Fantastic race, and we can be very happy with that one indeed. So yeah, definitely happy with that. Valtteri Bottas though securing P3, so we're going to be P4 in the driver's standings by the looks of it in the end, which we cannot complain too much about. It's been a good season, and definitely next season we can think about perhaps getting that drivers' championship. But at the moment, yeah, it was a good result for Red Bull. And we should be here next season, I think. I'd imagine with the results we've had so far, the performance we've put in, and Lucas Weber in P3 then. So Sebastian Vettel P4, our teammate was down in P6, so we did outscore the McLarens today, so that's a good result then for us as well. Butler not doing so well, probably getting stuck behind the Ferraris as well. So yeah, disappointment for him, but we're in P4. We're definitely going to be P4 in this season, so yeah, we've confirmed where we'll finish, where we're going to get P4 in the constructors as well. We'll just have to have a look in just a moment's time, but we're looking towards the back end there. You can see, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, done quite a good job so far this season. Particularly the second half has been very good for us. So there you can see we're at P5. We're on the same amount of points as McLaren, so it's going to go down to the wire. And yeah, it's going to be very close between ourselves and McLaren. All we have to do is outscore them in Abu Dhabi, and we should be in P4. But that's going to be the end of the episode there. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the last race of Season 2 in Abu Dhabi.